Hello, everybody. It's Tracy from RMD Cigar Accessories. It is Friday, February 7th, 2025, and let's talk. Before we get started, like, share, and hit the subscribe button so that way you will be notified of new content. I will post shorts throughout the week, and I will come to you every Friday with a new video. All right? So I was fortunate enough to receive a message from Santiago Cigars. Thank you so much. And they invited me to collaborate. But before then, they asked my opinion on something which I thought was really great. Listen, it's not about how many people are following you, and it's not about how many people are looking. It's about the people that are paying attention to your content and actually interested in doing something with you or supporting your business. That's what it's about. They asked me what kind of content I'd like to see. And I said, let's talk about women in the cigar industry, the history of the women in cigar industry, not just us showing up now. And they reached back out to me and said, okay, so for the month of February, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about Toscaderos, which are women cigar rollers, and the history of cigars in Mexico, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic. We're going to talk about their presence in the cigar history, which is far beyond a lot of the history that is exposed to us here in America. You know, we have the stogies, the old cigar tradition. My grandfather used to smoke cigars. And I never liked them when I was a little girl because I was always a daddy's girl. I always liked to be around my grandparents. I always liked to be around my grandfather. He used to come over. My aunt used to have a hair salon in her basement. I'm talking about when I was little, way back in the day. And Grandpa used to smoke those big gauge, old stinky, smoky cigars I didn't like. And here I am hanging around. I wanted to be, Grandpa came around, had his tool belt on. He's doing his work. I wanted to be right there. Well, one day I bumped and the ash fell, and it burnt me slightly as the ash does. But then it was out of sight, out of mind. And years later, some of my friends who were Masons in Jersey, shout out to all of the Masons, and I was like, okay, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all pulling cigars out the plastic bag, they keeping them wherever and everything. I took some time to learn a little bit more about them. Now we have a lot of women that have a presence in the cigar industry. But I'm going to be honest, and like I said on my first video, and like I'll say continuously, I am here to speak about my opinion, and I'm here to speak about my experiences and also things that I learn about cigars as I learn. Then we'll talk about them, and then I'll share them with you. Never to put any shade, never to disrespect anybody. What I see in the industry where a lot of women are becoming more present, I don't really see the education. And that's okay. The traditional cigar smokers want to sit, they want to relax, they want to lounge, they want to have a conversation. You might want to have a good pairing. Don't forget, shop my website on Etsy. Okay, RMD Cigar Picks, where you can pick up your coffee mugs, you can order your brand t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, custom cigar picks, anything that I don't have on the site. If you have a custom request, you can send me a message, okay? But what I don't see is a lot of the education. There are cigar establishments, we'll call them, because a lounge and a club are not the same. Okay, your real true cigar smokers, you're not always going to find in a lounge with sports on the TV, and you're really less likely to find a lot of them in areas where it's a party atmosphere. Okay, so we'll say establishments. I've been to establishments around the way where we're sitting on some leather couches and we're listening to house music and everybody's having a good time with bad or good ventilation. I've been to some places where the humidor is off the chain and there's a hostess there to educate you on what type of beverage will pair with whatever cigar they have in that humidor. Shout out to Miami for that. I've been to some places where it's members only to enter. There's a nice humidor, there's a nice selection, and you can sit down and you can have those conversations. Might be some good jazz playing in the background, but you can have a conversation where you can hear one another and you can collaborate with everybody that's smoking cigars, with your men, with your women. And the topics of discussions are just so open. It's amazing. I've sat down with men that I've met and we've talked about how to season your barbecue. I've met people from all over the world. Shout out to the Foundation Room in Las Vegas. Um, it's just so much information. Uh, Police officers, attorneys, Jimenez Cigars in Jersey. Shout out. My condolences again to the loss of Jimmy. A wealth of information where you can go in and you can speak to the hostess who can recommend a good pairing right off the bat and tell you about cigars, tell you about the different rollings, the different sizing, tell you about the different flavors, ask you the questions to know. I drink coffee, and you'll probably hear me say that quite a bit. I've been drinking coffee since high school. And I also suffer from migraines. Caffeine, the black coffee, does help me a little bit with that, just a little bit, and that's my thing. And I like the taste of it. Not with all of the milk and stuff like that, but when you get into Colombia and when you get into Mexico and you get into Honduras and you get into Nicaragua and you're sitting down and you ask about people that like to drink coffee, those people are going to be more likely to smoke something or enjoy something that's more full bodied. Okay. Those are going to be people that might move a little bit towards Maduros. So you have to ask this question, and then people that don't know, people might say, oh, okay, we're just going to, throw you something sweet, go over and try, something from Deadwood. Okay. Or, I've been to a couple of establishments, and I like to listen. I don't always go in like I know exactly what I want. I want to see what you got. I'll take a look at your humidor and it's a challenge to me. Let's see what you got. I want to know if I'm going to know more than you know about your establishment or what education I can walk away from. So I've been in establishments where, okay, the first thing they want to do is pick up a Cohiba. Cohibas are good cigars. I love the Cohiba Connecticut in the white box. I love it, but that's not going to be for everybody. And then not everybody's going to smoke that. You got to know what you're talking about, okay? You have to know what you're talking about. And if you don't know, then just sit down and take some time to learn. I advertised that I was going to start doing this YouTube, and I'll tell you, and I said I'm going to start talking about cigar education, and I'm telling you right now, I have seen a couple of new posts from people talking about shit that they ain't never talked about before. Okay, so thank you. It's the best form of flattery. I appreciate it. But I want to talk about the women in cigars. I really made some notes for some things that I didn't know, and I wanted to go in depth in a lot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up a little bit. So to end today, we're going to talk about the torcedoras. I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Torcedoras are women cigar rollers, okay? Pivotal in the cigar industry. Nicaragua wrappers are known for their precision and craftsmanship. Torcedoras have been around forever. Again, women in the cigar business, in the education of it, in the knowledge of it, in the creation of it, are not new. Women that are coming out now that you're seeing in cigar lounges, that are smoking cigars and participating in events and opening up cigar lounges, that is a little bit more new. Women that actually can speak to a lot of cigars and the brands and the education of it is still not as big as I'd like to see it, but I see it coming. I don't know everything about anything, but when I'm speaking about something, I make sure that I know something about it. All right. I am a preferred, I have a variety, and it really depends on my mood. A La Gloria Cubana, too strong Maduro, and a Scotch might be needed every once in a while. But one of my faves, between Plasencia, between Oliva, which I always mispronounce, Pardon, my father, you see what other, El Septimo. El Septimo is exclusive to 8 Lounge in Vegas, which is in Resort World. When they first open, you can't go into Resort World too casual. If you want seating, it requires a reservation. There's usually a $50 per person minimum, but you're going to spend $50 on a cigar. You cannot bring your own. It's a different environment. A smoked Macallan Old Fashioned. I can almost taste it. The presentation, but the Da Vinci was introduced. Again, you had somebody that had knowledge of the cigars that they had there. I told them what my preference was. Introduce me to the Da Vinci. It's been a favorite ever since. If you're in Houston, C. Dot Cigars on Main Street now carries El Septimo brand. If you're in Vegas, there is a cigar lounge, El Septimo Cigar Lounge, that features the El Septimo brand cigars as well. So definitely try those out. But those are some of my faves. However, a few years ago, I was in on Memphis on Beale Street, went into a cigar lounge, had my own, sat down, went into the humidor. Nice humidor. Again, I was asked, well, what would you like to smoke, etc. You know, I said, this is what I'm in the mood for. This is what I'm carrying. I was already a fan of Drew Estate then. The Del Sol, I like. Nice, mild cigar. Tabac, I like. All of them. Again, depends on the mood. But, which is a good pairing with a cup of coffee. But I was introduced to the infamous Fat Bottom Betty. And this was maybe 2018, early 2019. So this wasn't new to me. They were so good that I went back in and bought the rest of what they had. Came back to Vegas, went to Casa, a favorite of mine, which a lot of you may not know about because it's not on the Strip. The owners at the time, Val and his wife, great hostess. I said, you know, I was a regular, you know, go up and my chocolate martini. It's a nice atmosphere, nice music, good people, parking, the drinks, everything. I said, why don't you try this? A couple of months later, I'm sitting there at the bar. Val comes over to me. How you doing, Tracy? You know, he says, listen, I cannot keep them in stock. He said, my members are buying them by the box. Insane. Over the next couple of videos, I'm going to go into some of the history of Drew Estate. They are one of the largest, they are one of the largest and most recognized brands in the cigar industry. And they're from New York City. I bet a lot of you didn't know that as well. So we're going to go into a little bit about that and the brands because it happens to be one of my favorite brands, not just because of the Betty. You just can't go, the Betty is Deadwood through Drew Estate, but you just can't go wrong with anything that they've done, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. So I don't want to overwhelm you. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Again, any of my merchandise, t-shirts, coffee mugs, humidors, I have a few left, the travel flask, sweatshirts, hoodies, just put your lips on it. We're going to talk about that a lot more. I want to give you guys a little bit every time we talk, not everything all at once, but just put your lips on it is the new addition to my R&D Cigar Accessories brand, which again, just came to just put your lips on it. What do you do with a cigar? You just put your lips on it. You don't put it all in your mouth. You just put your lips on it, pull and enjoy. That's it. Mwah. Just like a kiss. You want to be soft, you want to be gentle with it, but you want to hold it firmly so that way you get a good pull on it. And a lot of you might take it to a whole nother place, but that's not where I'm going with it. So let's just clarify. But I want to thank you again. My Etsy store, the links are in my bio. R&D Cigar Picks on Etsy. We ship nationwide. Thank you very much for your support. See you guys next week. Enjoy. Put some smoke in the air. And thanks. Bye.